Join me as you and I and you take a journey to become better writers together and geek out. Hello there, Apple Bites. This is Writ Ralph talking to you from the show here, The Written Writ. And today we got a plethora of guests all waiting to talk about what they want to talk about. And especially because we have two beautiful conventions happening this weekend. One is Fanfare NYC, where Derrick is tabling, and Jamal here is going to be talking to us a little bit about that. And of course, we have our guest host, Mr. Gage The Wolf, who's still working on getting to his funding goal for his Kickstarter.
4 days to go.
So, Gage, since you're the guest host, start off and let them know what you have and what you do.
So, my name is Nathan Johns. If most people on social media know me as Gage the Wolf, and I'm the creator of Godslayers. Right now on Kickstarter, Godslayers Episode 2 is 68 great backers, 4 days from done. And Godslayers is, if you're a D&D fan, if you're a role-playing fan, you like anime or animation, this book's kind of right up your alley. Mario A. Barraza, the guy who does our interiors and our main covers, has a very animated style to his work. And the story follows a group of heroes whose world's being oppressed by a Yama King, which is a demon from the Thousand Hells. And they have to wake his slain vessel that he once possessed to wield the Godslayer sword to fight him.
And of course, the art looks beautiful, and I completely can feel the D&D vibes in this thing, brother.
Oh yeah, and Mario's a local from where you guys are. He lives out near New York in Jersey City.
Oh,
I got to meet him last April. We went out to New York for a vacation. We took my daughter to see some Broadway shows, and I got to hang out with him in person. So, really cool guy. That's Mario's wraparound cover. That's our main cover for Godslayers Episode 2.
His artwork looks beautiful.
We have the LC Freitas cover, the Godslayer Awakened cover, and that's also colored by Mario. None of my cover artists did just one piece for this. The next one is LC's Bella pinup cover, and that's colored by Ann Arajo, who does the next cover, the Sexy Necromancer cover. And this is kind of my jab at the Bad Girl comics. I wanted to do like a dude pinup. And so my main character, Dustin Spellbinder, is our pinup leaned against the sarcophagus of the Godslayer.
Of course.
The Kitsune being tortured by demons back there. And then Pete Vasquez did our Godslayer variant. And I love this cover, and so I wanted it in foil. And so we offer this foil cover also.
I gotta admit, this thing's gonna look beautiful in foil. I can't wait to see it. I know you have it already, right?
I don't.
Oh, I thought you did already. Oh.
Nope. If I did, I'd be showing it off.
Oh, what you have is Pete's original artwork, right?
I do. Right here behind me. If I can get my camera, I have Pete's original piece.
Wow. Dude, that came out really nice. I can see why you wanted to make it a foil cover.
Oh yeah. I can't wait to get this thing framed up and stuff. So I have a bunch of art I had done for parties for my role-playing group up in my living room, and I want that up there too. I haven't gotten a chance to frame it up. I've been working on getting Godslayers funded, so
I have to admit, like having your crew in art is always a blast. I know a couple of times I've been in a group where they actually have somebody who can draw the characters, and it's so nice to be able to see what character you're playing, while you're playing it.
So that's how I actually met Mario, who does the art for Godslayers. Was he started out doing party images for my role players that I was giving them as Christmas gifts.
Right.
So on Christmas, the game master gift was I would have a commissioned piece done of the party, and then everyone would get a framed copy of it. So
I see Pete and Son of Saint over here like chatting up a storm.
What's up, Pete? Angel?
Angel's like, Jersey City, he's my neighbor then. The mighty Pete, of course, and Pete's like, Javier, you gotta love the camaraderie, the friendship here. And Pete's like, I know everybody here today. Oh, they're just having too much fun over there on the side. Of course, guys, you need to go over there and check out Gage's Kickstarter. He needs a little bit more help. Let me see if I can put it up one more time.
We're 700 away, a little over 700 away, with 4 days to go. So we're down to the wire. And not only that, but Pete had me put a tier up, and he's offering to do a commission, so you can get the Pete Vasquez Godslayer variant and a commission piece for $100 on there.
Whoa, that's a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
So, folks, come on, they're right there. They're really close. We can help them make it to 3,000, especially in 4 days. Come on, we've done more. So and Godslayer is a good piece, especially if you like D&D, or if you just like fantasy. It's a great story. I hear popping over here on my side. Oh, I was wondering where Frank was.
Listen, so I've been down in Philly for 3 days. The truck broke down. I think yesterday was the only day that I didn't kill myself. So I walked in at 8:00, and I think I passed out each night without taking a shower. I know I just admitted that was disgusting, but yes. Yeah. It's been hell down here. I feel like I'm in a third world country down here. It's really bad by the branch. Oh my God. The people picketing. Yo, I got harassed by someone. Oh my God. I got a ticket today. We got a ticket today for pulling up in the city and unloading by a CVS.
Wow.
Like the city, Ralph, right? So like if you walk in the city, any CVS, you go, there's no loading dock. So we got a ticket, and they just hate Coca-Cola right now. So
I forgot that's what the strike's about.
yeah, like up in New York, it's there's 4 positions that Coke has as sales, which I'm non-union, so I could come down and help or whatever, non-union, right?
I was wondering what you were doing down.
I do sales. So I run around. So yeah, so I'm a non-union. So up where we all live, it's merchandisers, drivers, and warehouse. The merchandisers up here are non-union, which is really weird. But in New York, they're all 3 of them are union. So it's like, we got people from Smith. There's probably about 15 to 20 people, Smithtown, and they're just talking tomorrow. I'm like, oh, what are they waiting for? Like I know I would be like, oh crap, where's my next mortgage payment coming from? So it's like, and these people are like assholes, man. Assholes with a capital A, man.
I wasn't the first one today.
You were not the first one.
See?
All right, Frank, tell them who you are and what you do, because we want to make sure you sell your book.
All right, good. Well, my name is Frank Destefano. Hi, everybody. And I'm the writer of the Dark Legend of the Foreigner book series. And I do have an announcement to make, that I will be at Cradle. I know, Ralph, I told you that I wasn't, but that kind of changed, which what I just kind of told you. So, so I'll be down in, what is it? That's really Garden City, I guess, at the end of May 20th and 21st, Saturday and Sunday.
We love QuailCon here. It's a great convention.
I'll be at Contropolis. When is that? That's May 5th through the 7th down in PA. I mean, I want to go, but and then I'm going to be at Fan Expo in June. It's right the week after Memorial Day. So those are the next 3 events that I have coming up. There's a bunch more, but those are the 3 from now. And I'm gonna be there selling my books, a package of $50 for the 2 books, 2 posters, and a T-shirt for 50. And I don't pay for autographs either. So you know, So Dark Legend: The Foreigner book series is about an ancient Japanese warrior that got frozen for 400 years in feudal Japan and wakes up in modern time New York. What more do you want? We already have problems in the city. We don't need more.
Dude, the art looks badass. You guys really do have to check out Frank's book. It's actually selling really well at the conventions, right?
Yeah, it's doing really well. Like the last one I did was Galaxy, and I really took it down to Richmond, and a lot of people down there really took to it. So, it was a great convention. I got Mick Foley, I think, was one of the pictures that I had,
Oh,
and
dude, yeah, you
Mick
got
Foley
a
and
lot of
Matt
nice people
Hardy,
in those
and
pictures.
yeah, it was great. It was great.
Pete saying CradleCon is at the Cradle of Aviation Museum in Garden City, Long Island. I'll be there.
Yeah, that just got added today, by the way.
I kind of figured when you told me. All right, Derrick, since you are the guest at Fanfare, we'll start off with you, and then Jamal can follow you and talk about Fanfare itself. So, Derrick, tell them who you are, what you do, all the beautiful things. Give them your spiel.
Hi, everyone. I'm Derrick. I write under the name DM Charles. I'm a comic writer. I've been writing for over 10 years now. My most recent comic is called Cubo Crusaders. It's a comedy series about superheroes who work 9-to-5 jobs. So it tries to answer the question of what happens when a superhero clocks out and a supervillain attacks. Do they clock back in? Do they get overtime? What happens? So I'm selling issues. So this weekend I'm going to be at Fanfare NYC. I'll be selling that, as well as my other comic series, Ninja Express, which is anime manga inspired series. That's an action comedy about a boy who joins his high school ninja club. And I'll be selling volumes 1 and 2. This is actually the first convention I'll be selling volume 2 at.
Oh, and you've been like off the conventions for a while, right? I think before the pandemic.
Yep, the last convention I did was January 2020, and I'm planning on getting back out there this year. I'm hoping to be at Anime NYC in November, and 5 Points Con I applied to. I'm waiting to hear back.
Cool. We like 5 Points here. Oh my God, dude! You've been working on this for a long time, right? We started off with Pronto Comics, right?
Yep.
How did that whole process happen with Pronto? How were you chosen? Because it wasn't easy to get picked by Pronto. I know. I did a couple of presentations for them.
Well, I feel like I got in maybe in the second or third year of Pronto. I actually went to a it was at New York Comic Con, and it was like a meet and greet for writers and artists, and I hooked up with them there. I went to a meeting of theirs like a month after the convention, and I did a few books for them, and eventually I met my Ninja Express artist, Drake Tinta, there, and then we've been working on Ninja Express ever since.
Dude, I got to give you credit, bro, because a lot of people would have just like stopped by now. That shows the passion you have for your work. You don't want to be like one of those people that go, okay, that's it, I'm done. And we've had a lot of those. Yeah. Sadly enough.
It's easy to say you're a writer. It's hard to actually write and follow through with something. So
you're not kidding, bro. I can tell you that from my own experience. A lot of people go, how do you become a writer? You just keep doing it. Gage, do you feel like it's the same for you?
Yeah, just keep writing as much as I can all the time.
Yeah, I know it's funny because a lot of writers always ask that same question. I'm like, dude, just keep going. If you stop, that's when you stop being a writer.
And one of the things you have to work on is just building good habits,
Yeah,
If you build good writing habits, if you make sure to make time for it, you'll get it done.
that's a definite. You know, it's always the question of there's no time for writing. It's always time for writing.
You got to find time. You got to make the time, find the
Yeah.
time in
Yeah.
busy schedules in life, and you got to try to do it.
I'm honestly trying to combat a lot of my bad time wasting habits I picked up over like during lockdown. It's easy to kill a day on YouTube.
Oh, I've done that many times. I'm in the middle of writing something. Next thing I know, it's like 5 hours later, and I'm like, damn it.
Oh, when I get writer's block when I'm writing, I literally like look. I have my phone next to me because I usually put like music on, iHeartRadio or something, and then I'm like, oh man, all right, let me look at my phone, and that turns into about 45 minutes to an hour later. I'm like, oh, I gotta get this away from me. Oh, but the music's on. It happens because we just all have like those writer's block or those ideas that you're trying to connect something and then try to come up with something, and then you don't like it. I'm like, all right, let me just let me calm down. Let me kind of like think about something or look at something. And then, man, that's the worst thing that you could possibly do. Maybe when you're trying to go to sleep at night, maybe it works.
That is the time when my brain tries to go into overdrive too.
Yeah, it does. But usually when I look at it like at 10:30 at night or whatever, it keeps me up. It does the completely opposite. So 10:30 will turn into about 1:30. Like,
That's
oh
because
man,
as long as you're laying in that bed, the writing stuff is like, dude. As soon as you get up to write it, it goes, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't think nothing.
Exactly.
Oh my God. Oh, I gotta love writing.
Do.
Jamal, are you a writer too, or just an artist?
No, I'm a writer as well. I don't obviously don't get the opportunity to do quite as much writing as I would like to. Just my schedule tends to be pretty full between drawing and teaching and just the usual life stuff. But I've written a few things. I self-published a book. Well, sort of self-published. I did a book back in 2013 called Molly Danger, which was published through Action Lab Entertainment, and that was a Kickstarter that I was thankfully successfully able to do. I've done some short stories, some small stints at a few companies. My background as far as writing, I started before I got into comics. I worked in advertising, so that's my advertising and marketing. So that's my writing background primarily before getting into comics full time. And I've been working in comics for over 30 years. So that tells you.
That says a lot right there.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: when you did the Molly Kickstarter, that was like near the beginning of Kickstarter.
That was 2012. Yeah.
Yeah. So around the beginning of it.
Right.
So
right.
how do you feel like Kickstarter has changed from then to now?
Well, comic book Kickstarters weren't as prevalent back then, and I think there's more advantages to having a Kickstarter now. Unfortunately, a lot of the issues seem to come down to shipping.
Yeah.
And the cost of shipping internationally is cost prohibitive for a lot of producers, and that has nothing to do with Kickstarter itself, but it does make it more difficult than when I did my Kickstarter. And my Kickstarter was fairly successful. The first book we raised $50,000. So
that's pretty good.
That's really successful.
It's like moderately successful.
I mean, in comparison to something like Order of the Stick, right, or one of like Iron Circus's Kickstarters before they moved their platform and started doing their own crowdfunding
Right.
through their website. I mean, yeah, it was successful. I mean, I've been part of several successful Kickstarters. Let me put it to you that way. I was also the artist on Black, which was published through Black Mask Entertainment, and that was, we wanted 30,000, we got 90,000.
Woo!
Damn.
But this is I say this with the caveat of, when I did my Kickstarter, this was after my leaving DC, having been the artist on Firestorm, having been the artist on Supergirl, worked on War of the Supermen, like, years and years and years of, Marvel and DC comics and doing stuff overseas. And then, the same thing with the Black Kickstarter is you had, myself, Kari Randolph, Kwanzaa Sajafo, Tim Smith, all working together on this, on this project. And, the right elements were there, but that's, a lot of that was, quote unquote, big name pros getting together and working on a Kickstarter. Most Kickstarters, like Gage's Kickstarter, have more modest goals.
Mm-hmm.
So realistic goals. Comparatively, it's very, running a Kickstarter campaign is hard. It's exceedingly hard. It's one of the most difficult things that I've ever attempted to do on my own, and I did 2 of them.
Well, and you had the good fortune of having a background in advertising. Marketing is one of the things I struggle with, and then a lot of big names on your book, bringing in a good amount of money. So, I mean, congratulations. That's awesome. That's the goal for all of us who are creating. So.
That being said, if I never have to run another Kickstarter campaign, I
knew you were going to say that.
It's 30 days of hell. It really is, because
super stress,
especially if you have a full-time job and you're trying to manage a Kickstarter, an advertising and marketing campaign for 30 days straight. And it's very easy, especially during, the mid-campaign lull, to get really, really frustrated at the lack of movement.
Yeah, completely. Yeah, and we cover a lot of Kickstarters here, and it's always so weird. Like some projects, they'll fund in a day.
Right.
And those are the ones that I feel like, once you fund, everybody goes,
yeah.
And then it's all about trying to get the numbers up.
Well, that's the problem also, is that, once something gets funded or gets close to its funding goal, people just forget and move on.
Exactly. But it's kind of funny though, because it's those Kickstarters, where you're fighting tooth and nail the whole time the Kickstarter is going, that give you a heart attack, because you're still like on the last day and you're not funded and you're like, come on, people.
Yeah. And your heart's racing and you're short of breath and you're having trouble sleeping.
Oh yeah.
I'm not speaking from experience right now.
Oh no. Of course.
Pete says
he checks his Kickstarter.
Pete says it here. It's something that we say here all the time. The work. Oh, wrong one. Here we go. No one gets rich making comics and Kickstarters, especially. It's about hoping to make enough money to pay yourself back and pay for the next one. Mm-hmm. And that's what we tell them all the time, is that when these guys are putting the Kickstarters out there, nobody's really making money. There's a couple of Kickstarters out there that make money. I'm not going to say they don't, but most of the guys are trying to make this book, the next book, and maybe put like a coffee in their pocket.
Yeah, and see, a lot of those people have been doing it for a while too. When you're looking at people who've been doing it for 9, 15, 20 years, doing comic books, they've got a name behind them. They've got a reputation. They're trusted by people that they know they're going to fulfill. They know they're making a great book. When you're someone like me who's on second book, I fulfilled my first one great, but I'm on my second book, so I'm still building fan base, still building reputation. So
Pete says
Kickstarter's really hard at the beginning.
It is. Pete says we can't all be Billy Tucci or Brian Pulido. Oh my God. Whew. Derrick, you haven't done a Kickstarter yet, right?
I have not. I'm researching. I'm getting ready. I'm trying to prepare myself for what for what some of these people over here have already gone through. I just pray. I pray I get 50,000 for my Kickstarter.
I was gonna say we don't want to scare you out of it. Oh my God. So Jamal, tell us a little bit about Fanfare and what you guys are doing this weekend.
Okay, well, Fanfare NYC is a convention that is hosted and run by the PTA, the High School of Art and Design, and basically they've been doing it off and on for the last 6 years. Last year they held it at the Bronx Botanical Garden. The year before that, it was a virtual convention. This year, we are returning to the school building, which is on 56th Street between 2nd and 3rd Avenue in Manhattan. It's going to be running Saturday and Sunday, and it's big. It's big. It's a different type of convention. Because of the nature of the High School of Art and Design, we have invited professionals from a variety of different disciplines. We have animators, we have landscape architects, we have graphic designers, we have writers, we have fashion designers, we have motion graphics designers, cosplayers, photographers. We are going to, like, some of the guests include Abe Adish, who worked on We Bare Bears, Dan Haskett, the legendary Dan Haskett, who worked on The Little Mermaid, the original Disney Little Mermaid. We have Anthony Marquez, the head of the Joe Kubert School. We are going to have people from the Art Students League. We have cartoonists like Jason Little, Sean Chen, Marvel artist Sean Chen, Greg Pak is going to be there. Anthony Del Cole is going to be there. Fred Van Lente and Ryan Dinlevy are going to be there. It's a big deal. We've got, we called in a lot of favors. We got a great lineup. There's going to be cosplay contests. There's going to be food. We got exhibitors. There's going to be gaming on multiple floors, video games, D&D, role-playing games. There's going to be graffiti artists doing demonstrations. There's going to be a cosplay. I mentioned the cosplay contest, right? There's going to be a cosplay contest. Yeah, so it's amazing, and this is my first year being involved directly with the convention, partially because my own child Rio is a 9th grader at Art and Design, and I'm Art and Design alumni. I graduated in 1990. So
now are any of the students of the school doing anything for it?
Yes. We have volunteers, but we also have students who will be set up in Artist Alley.
See, that's cool. I love that.
That's really awesome.
Yes. So
it's one of the reasons we love this convention so much is because it kind of showcases the talent that's in the school as well. So yeah, and it's always something fun to go to every year. And of course, we do have alumni Tony, who used to go to Art and Design, and of course, we one of our partners' sons is going to Art and Design right now. So a lot of connections.
That's just a very cool concept that not only do they get a chance to show off and do their art and be volunteers, but they're also getting to meet these people that they probably idolize and see their work. That's such a cool idea for a convention. I like that.
We're going to have, there's going to be portfolio reviews. There's going to be panels. Nice. There's, it's going to be, I forgot to mention the legendary Ernie Colon is going to be at Fanfare this year.
Dude, it sounds like you guys have pulled up all the stops for this fanfare this year. It's like you're trying to outdo yourselves.
Well, it's our first in-person fanfare in quite some time. So if you're gonna come back, you're gonna come back strong.
You got to do that. Yeah, I completely agree with you. And I'm just going through all the stuff over here, and you're not kidding. Look at all these people. Man, this is like a lot of talent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is a great idea because when I was younger, I've always loved anime and comics, but it wasn't until I graduated college, I was like, hey, maybe I could actually write my own comic, like do something that I actually love. And getting these kids to like push their art to actually table conventions, see other creators. I think that's a wonderful idea.
Definitely. And I know from talking to Kadma, Derrick, that you've always been a great storyteller. She always tells me that you would tell her you would regale her with these fantastic ideas that you would have that just pop out of your head.
Yes, and then I just decided to try and make money off of it.
Isn't that the dream of every writer? We were like, I got stories to tell people.
Now, how to get someone to pay me for it?
Exactly. Oh man. So with fanfare, I know how many years have you guys been doing it now?
6 years.
6 years. I think we've been there for every year. Well, the ones that you had in the school. The 2 out of the convention, that was something.
Yeah.
I mean, the pandemic, I should say.
True.
But I can see like a step up. It looks like you guys are really, there's way more guests than I've usually seen there. You have a lot of stuff happening here.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. The PTA and the fanfare committee we've been working on putting together the best possible show. I mean, this is like literally started working on this in full force in December. So like it's just been, every week just sending out emails, securing guests, securing sponsors, like putting everything together, and the school has been nothing but extremely helpful.
That's good. And again, we love these conventions. I just came from MCon, who was doing a library convention, and I like these conventions that aren't the usual type of conventions.
Right.
Because I feel like we should be doing
that's
more
a
of
cool
it.
one.
Yeah.
The stop motion animation. That's sick.
Dude, yeah. I saw that one. I was like, whoa, that one popped up on my feed like a little while ago. I was like, okay, this should be an interesting thing to check out.
And it's such a different world now, like for the kids in high school now. Like when I was in high school, you were a nerd if you were into comics and role playing. There were like 6 of us that hung out at a table and did that stuff. Yeah. And now, like, you're having a con at the high school. That's so cool. I wish I'd had that kind of inspiration back in my day.
Exactly.
But art and design, like, it's just amazing to see, how different an experience these kids at art and design are having. I mean, I would not be anywhere near I would not have had the launch pad that I had career wise if it wasn't for A&D. And they've got equipment that we would have dreamed of having. And just right now, in a couple of weeks, they're going to be taking Adobe certification. My 15-year-old is going to be an Adobe certified graphic designer, like at 15. This is the type of stuff that the school does, and the PTA helps facilitate.
Wow, dude, like I agree with Gage. If we were at that age and were able to play with some of this stuff. It would have been amazing.
Absolutely.
And I know, Jamal, from listening to how long your career has been, that you understand how different it was to get into the industry or any of this stuff, even back when we were kids.
Yes, that's true. I mean, you know, I have been doing this since dinosaurs roamed the earth.
I gotta admit, one of the things that I love the most about this day and age is how easy it is to get into it now. Because you don't have to join anybody. You can just do it yourself. Hence Kickstarter and all the things to what they are. It's still a lot of work, and you're selling your soul for it, and you're bleeding for it. But
it's
at
a lot
least
more
now,
work.
It's up to you.
But
it's a lot more work when you're doing the Kickstarter or the Indiegogos and doing them on your own, because at that point you're advertising, you're marketing for yourself, you're managing the book, you're managing the letterers and the artists and writing the story. Whereas with a publisher, like, you're the artist or you're the writer, or maybe you do all of that, but in the indie world, you have to wear many hats.
Yeah.
And find time to wear those hats.
Yes. See,
that's
again, that's the good work habits. I just got to where, like, I allot time to it every day, an hour, 2 hours every day. Make sure I do. I force myself to do it even if I don't want to, and that habit's been good for me. Now I expect it. I just come and do it.
It's a good way to do it. I try to write a little bit, and then I try to, like, when I'm promoting it myself, I try to do like 2 or 3 posts during the course of a day, like once in the morning before I go to work, and then afternoon hit one, and at night I hit one. You try to get it out there with, especially with how Instagram has literally blew up, all our old folks like myself, who you used to use Facebook, and then now it's like the Instagrams and all the other ones that I probably not aware of, have literally just blown up. Like 15 years ago, Facebook, it's not going to be anything. Now look at it, you're talking like 2005, and that's really not that long ago. When you really think about it, social media has become my best friend, even though it was my worst enemy.
And I avoided social media for the longest time, and then I started making comic books, and I was on Facebook, but, like, I'm still learning Twitter and trying to learn how to get traction there, and still learning Instagram, and so like, as an indie creator, this is stuff you have to get the hang of.
It is, because you're not taught that. You have to learn it for yourself, or if you're lucky enough to have someone that actually, or someone in the industry that kind of gives you tips and stuff like that, you take them, and or you look up things and stuff like that. I've had a couple friends that gave me some good pointers and stuff like that, and kind of learned, and sent me some articles and stuff like that, just to kind of help me. But I'm not an expert, and I probably will never be, but I've got points from some really good friends of mine.
I gotta say, it's the people that go, I'm not an expert, that I look at the most, because those are the ones that know we're all still learning, and we're all still trying to get some.
Yep.
Thanks, Ralph. Thanks, Pete. Sorry for the call. That's how to do it, but listen, and I always appreciate people, like, looking out and seeing what I'm posting or how I'm doing it. And, because then from what I see, I don't see things from the outside, where other people will always be looking and having your back and stuff like that. So, listen, we always need people to help, whether they see something that you might not, or they might know something that you know better than them, or vice versa. And we as human beings will never perfect, and we always try to learn, especially in the marketing way, whether it's a comic book, it's a book, or whatever, or if you're just an artist. We don't know what to work, and it's a playing game that it's constantly changing, and you have to adapt to your audience and try to figure out your audience and try to capture more people of liking it, or visiting websites, or buying your stuff, or whatever it might be. So it's a constant game. That's what it is.
And Jamal, I love that place was so inspiring to you that you've gone back to make it inspiring for others. That's freaking awesome.
That is amazing. That's not awesome. That's amazing. That's really cool. That's really, really awesome that he did that.
Well, part of it is also like I said, my kid is an A&D student. My kid's about to go into the 10th grade there, and just seeing how much being there this past year has just opened them up, like just opened up their horizon. It's just one short year. I wanted to find a way to help, and I figured this was the best way for me to do it.
That's got to be so fulfilling.
It is. It's really funny for me on a personal note because I draw and write comics full time. But I'm also an adjunct professor at the School of Visual Arts. So my kid goes to the school that I went to high school, and I'm teaching at the school that I dropped out of. So,
don't tell them that.
I know.
Jokes on them.
It's funny. It really is. I didn't drop out grades. I dropped out because of finances at the time. But
sounds about right.
Yeah.
Life was kind of difficult, and we were making our own way back then. So Jamal, you've been working at this for a while now. You're teaching now. What do you? I know there has to be this passionate thing that you want the next generation to learn, or the generations that have come and gone. What is it that you want them to see? Because I know that there's this goal for you to teach them something.
Mm-hmm. Well, I teach a course called Principles of Cartooning, and it's part of the Bachelor's of Fine Arts. It's, comics at SVA is a bachelor's degree program. So my focus as a teacher is to sort of give them the realistic view of working in comics, what it's like to have a sustainable career in comics. And a lot of that is finding where you fit, because not everyone wants to do the exact same type of book. Not everybody wants to do the exact same type of material. And it's very interesting for me because part of it is, I'm the superhero guy of all the of most of the instructors. I'm the guy who draws, who's spent most of his career drawing superhero comics. I've done a few bits of historical fiction. I've done some sci-fi, but I'm the guy who drew Supergirl for 2 years. I mean, that's my background. And this generation and the generations that seem to be following are not interested in that type of material, or if they are, it's not the traditional American view of superhero comics.
Interesting.
So I tried to teach them the nuts and bolts of not just form and function of putting together a comic book page, but right. I also try to teach them the realistic view of what it's like to work in comics.
They're manga and anime fans mostly, right?
Well, no, because a few of them are lean more towards horror. A few of them lean more towards the kind of like the first, second, Scholastic, Penguin Kids.
Okay.
Zoom, that kind of style. Webtoons. It's also a big influence with these kids as well. So it's not just one thing. There are a few who are into manga and anime, but manga follows the same basic principles as American comics, as bande dessinée, as Meiwan. So I try to teach them the basics, and from there, where they decide to go is completely up to them. And they've surprised me. with their versatility and with their imagination and the stories that they come up with. This was my first year back teaching. I used to teach. I actually started the comics program at the Art Students League of New York about 15 years ago. Like 16 years. No, actually 17 years ago. And I had stepped back from teaching after Rio was born, and so I just didn't have the extra bandwidth or time on top of everything else. So it's been a really interesting experience being back in a classroom, especially on a university level, on the collegiate level.
Yeah, I remember you saying in the green room that you were coming back from class today, and I was like, whoa, because I remember class just being when we were coming up, in the 90s, and going to college and working at the same time was already difficult. I don't even want to know what you're going through right now.
Well, it's getting a little easier. I mean, it's the end of the calendar school year, so I don't really have to worry about that. Now I just have to get back to doing the full-time comic stuff for a bit. I've got like 2 different projects waiting for my attention, plus covers that need to be done for solicitation. There's a lot of stuff, and then gearing up for the summer conventions, and traveling.
You've been whistling Dixie there, man.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of stuff happening. A lot of conventions happening.
There is a lot.
Every time I turn around, there's a new convention. Oh,
there's like 2 this weekend, right?
Yep. This weekend we got Castle Point, and of course Fanfare, and Nat's saying there's a bunch more. You know which ones they are, Nat?
Not entirely. I just know a good chunk of them are not within reach of us. That most of them require cars.
Right.
That makes sense. Our drivers have disappeared recently. Life has taken them somewhere else. I see a huzzah there from Atrocity Press.
Hey, Max.
Oh my God. Tony, you went to art and design as well, right?
Yes, I did. Yeah, went to art and design and School of Visual Arts. And
oh, look at that.
Well, but while I was doing, what happened with my story
MegaCon this weekend.
Yeah, my story was when I was doing that stuff, I was working at the same time, and eventually I just kept moving up and up in the job I was doing and making so much money. So I kind of like more now. I write. I don't really draw anymore because I don't have the time to like draw. So I just kind of like write. That's what I like doing. Or write, talking about the things I like. That's like kind of like what I like doing. So kind of like, it's a lot easier and stuff. So, but I mean, it helped me like having to just graduate in the top of my class. All that stuff helped me like move up in like the corporate world as a funny way. So it's just very funny how that worked out. And now here I am, helping the younger guys, helping y'all. So hopefully, they have a better path than I did, a little easier path, because stuff happened. Had to leave my house, pretty early. Stuff happened. Had to pay bills. Whole lot of stuff happened, but I don't know. Good place, I guess. Life.
That says a lot, though, that art and design helped you out. Yeah. It says a lot about the school.
Well, yeah.
You got let's see what we got here. Niobe Comics says, is there a Gage the Wolf in here? Meet the Gage and hi.
Correct. Not MegaCon. I was looking at the wrong day. There is Castle Point, Armageddon, Mondo, Lobo, Mini. There's another one. I think it's Pushy. I think as well.
Yeah, that's in Atlantic City, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, it sounds like you're saying code names. Tango, Charlie, Alpha.
And then I can't remember what's the one Goldine keeps saying he's going to. But that's a different con entirely.
Nick Hughes is saying, yo, yo, yo. Hey, Nick, how you doing? Oh my God. I gotta admit, like, for some reason I've been circling art and design for like ages, especially because my brother went there. And I've been in there so many times, it's not funny.
Right. I went to school with your brother. I forgot about that. Yeah.
I completely, oh, that's right. You guys went at the same time. Oh,
Yeah, he was a year below me. Yeah. Yeah. And
dude,
my niece graduated from art and design. She's doing a FIT now.
see?
Yeah.
It's just, it's so funny to me that every time I turn around, it's something else bringing us back to art and design. Which is like, I always try hard to make sure that we go because, you know, I feel like just like you guys are saying, the future is there. They need to be shown something, and I feel like right now, especially when it comes to comics, this is a moment where comics will either fail or rise to the occasion. You know, and I'm hoping they rise to the occasion.
I don't know, man. There's so many new doors open when it comes to doing that stuff. Like he was saying, webtoons and indie comics and Kickstarter, Indiegogo, crowdfund my comic. There's so many different ways you can get a comic out there now, or a story out there now. When it used to be like find a publisher, find a publisher, find a publisher. You know, even if you want to animate something, you can put it on YouTube yourself. You don't have to go through Netflix or Disney or any of these things. You can create something yourself and still get it out there to people.
Yeah.
You know, like the age of gatekeepers is gone, and I think that's going to be very healthy for the comic industry as a whole, and especially like the changing of what American comics has definitely changed a great deal over just the last 2 decades. Like right now, I'm actually reading like several horror comics, and comics being synonymous with superhero is definitely in the past. Like I can't wait to see what the next 10 years of comics is going to be. I want to see slice of life. I want to see historical. I want to see more horror. I want to see sci-fi. I really can't wait to see the road that the American comic industry is going down.
I have to admit, I agree. I feel like it's going a whole different path. It's not just superhero comics anymore, which is funny because the industry started out as more, and then it just became superhero comics.
Yeah.
So, you know,
I mean,
and when I was younger, stuff like Conan and Red Sonja and ElfQuest, those were like outliers. You were lucky if your comic shop carried them.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely. Jamal, you've been in the industry long enough. What do you think? What do you think about it?
In terms of the state of the industry, I think the state of the industry is stronger than a lot of people give it credit. Especially on the international front. I mean, you know, comics are still, I mean, yes, manga by sheer volume is still, you know, the largest sector of comics internationally.
Right.
But that doesn't discount the fact that even domestically, you know, American comics have reached their highest sales levels in 30 years. I mean, even including the late 80s, early 90s boom. So, you know, we're really in a great position in terms of sales and visibility. I think what is a lot of what's going to end up happening eventually is the vehicle in which comics are delivered is going to have to change, and that's only going to happen really when the technology becomes, you know, less cost prohibitive for a lot of people. It really is what it comes down to. Not everybody has access to a computer. Not everybody has access to a tablet, and a lot of people are still reluctant to do any kind of reading strictly on the computer, even though, you know, that's what kids are. They're scrolling on their phone. They're looking at their tablets. That's what's going to be the thing that's going to push things forward. The big problem with that right now that we're having is that it's not going to be immediate. There's not going to be an immediate leap to digital. It's going to be slow. It's going to be steady. It's going to trickle as, you know, we age out and younger creators start to come in more. That doesn't mean that print is going to go away anytime soon. It isn't. But there's going to be a shift to less, I think, monthly comics as we know them, because my students could care less about monthly comics. They're all about trades. They're all about collections. They want to read.
And the phone allows that access to it constantly with the digital.
Absolutely.
And that's a big deal. I think that the collectability is going to be a little different when digital starts becoming the bigger aspect of it. That's going to be interesting to see how that evolves.
Right.
But I mean, even like when I created Godslayers Episode 1, I did it all on an iPhone 7S. Like, I didn't have a computer at that time.
Right.
So just the capability of the technology they have in their hand, or their tablets, their phones, these creators have access to a form of creation that we didn't even imagine.
Very true.
That's absolutely true. So much content besides DC and Marvel, different ideas from different peoples and backgrounds and everything like that. And, the ideas that people create, whether it's comics or writers or anything like that, there's so much out there, and there's marketing tools that that are at people's fingertips, whether Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or marketing companies or whatever people decide to choose. It's amazing.
Yeah. It's a positive and a negative.
It is.
I'll give you an example. So Webtoons gets 52 million impressions on average per month. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of comics on Webtoons. But the average Webtoons viewer, the person who goes to the website, only spends about 10 to 15 minutes roughly, on Webtoons. So that means that they do a lot of scrolling unless it's something that they're reading regularly.
I gotta admit, I've seen a lot of it's like hit or miss with the Webtoons. A lot of them do well, a lot of them don't do well. You got an up and down on it. It's you can tell that it's heading in that direction, but at the same time, it's not heading in that direction.
Yeah,
not fast.
No.
I mean, you look at the Shonen Jump app. I mean, it's crazy. You pay $5.99 a month, and you can read tons and tons and tons and tons of manga and new manga as it comes out.
Right.
There's no American comic book equivalent to that. I mean,
Shonen Jump is a different formula entirely, because that one's entirely based around the name brand and the way and how they feature themselves. They've sort of marketed more towards an international audience, because the Shonen Jump magazine is Japan only. However, with the large fan base that it now has internationally, that's how they managed to monetize sort of their international audience. Because without it, they were really losing a lot of what they had potential market, and that's their way of being able to capitalize on some of that.
People were pirating their stuff left and right. So,
that's true.
But there's no like we had Comixology, it died. So I mean, there's no really, So
well, there's a there's a difference between Comixology and the Shonen Jump website.
Well, of course.
Comixology is essentially a distributor. It's not a they do have Comixology originals. One of my titles is a Comixology original, but it's not on the same model. Now, one of the things that opened up my eyes as far as manga goes is I went to Japan several years ago and got to talk to people from Shonen Jump, got to see the sheer volume of what is produced in Japan. Manga makes up about 40% of Japan's overall publishing. It's huge. They have we only see a fraction of what gets published.
Yeah.
So Shonen Jump has the advantage of being able to show an international audience all of the stuff that they've had stockpiled for the last 60 years.
Yeah.
So there's always, and they're producing new content. Marvel and DC could do that, but the infrastructure for something like that is so cost prohibitive, and you still have an issue, unfortunately, with retailers. You know, retailers do not want to have to compete with digital.
No, that's true. That's really true.
I don't fault them for that. You know, that is their bread and butter. And if you know, it's sort of like years ago when Marvel tried to do the QR codes that would allow you to download, you know, the download digital copies of the issue. It just was not, in the end, the return on investment just wasn't there enough for them to keep doing that on a regular basis.
I remember that. I never did it. I mean, I'm a print reader. I don't, you know, why I would have the comic in my hands. Why would I, you know, I don't know. It didn't make sense to me.
Oh, man. I see we're at the top of the hour there. This has been a fascinating conversation in 3,000 many ways. All right, let's start off by reminding people what we're doing. Gage, you go first.
Gage the Wolf. I'm the creator of Godslayers. Godslayers Episode 2 is on Kickstarter right now, so please go check it out. If you want to find me, you can find me at Gage the Wolf on Facebook, at Gage the Wolf on Twitter, at Gage the Wolf on Instagram, and my Facebook business page is Tenebris Anima Comics, and we have all kinds of updates and art and stuff splattered all over the walls on that place. So.
You see it here, guys. They're at 2,291. They need to get to 3,000. It's not that far. It's 4 days. We can do this. We can get them there. We can get them funded and give them a little extra space, because I always tell you guys what you want to do with these things is give them double the money, because that's when they're a little more relaxed. Because usually the person doing this is only asking enough to get funded, but their goal is probably a little higher than that, because cost is high. And of course, the more money you give to any Kickstarter, the more likely they're going to make more books and send them your way anyway.
And I'm far away from everybody that's on this show, but in Reno, Nevada, on July 8th, I'll be at Silver Age Comic-Con for my first time as a vendor.
Nice.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Congrats.
I'm nervous as heck.
It's like being on this show, but with people.
Once you get past the first one, you'll be fine. Trust me.
All right, Frank, your turn.
Oh, my turn. Oh, my name's Frank Destefano. You can find me at frankdestefanoauthor.com. I'm the author of the Dark Legend of the Foreigner book series, book 1 and 2. I'm going to be at Contropolis May 5th through the 7th. Make sure you don't get hammered on Friday, so you could come on Saturday to Contropolis, because Cinco de Mayo, the day before. Make sure you're all sobered up, you know, to come and meet me and my friend, the Master, you know, which don't give him too many Coronas. He might use you as bait, you know. But it's frankdestefanoauthor.com. I'll be at Contropolis May 5th through the 7th. And at the end of May, I'll be at Cradle of Aviation to follow that with the early June of Fan Expo in Pennsylvania.
That's a good question. That's a good question. Can the Master drink? Or with the
He's drinking stockies.
Oh, right.
He's probably been around since they made it.
Yeah.
He's 400 years old. I mean, looks great for his age.
He was pointing at the rice. He said, "There's the rice. He's the rice."
All right, Derrick, your turn.
Okay. Derrick Charles. I'm going to be at Fanfare NYC this weekend at table 309. I'll be selling my comic books, Ninja Express and Cubo Crusaders. So definitely check me out this weekend if you're in the area. You can follow me on Instagram at dmcharles_writer. And you can check out my book Ninja Express at ninjaexpresscomic.com. You could actually read the first issue on the site there for free.
Derrick, I know you're planning for a couple more conventions this year. I think you have another one that you're ready to do, right?
Yes, I'm going. I should be at 5 Points Fest in a few months in June.
There you go. I want to make sure that we get you all the places you're going.
Yes,
that people
absolutely.
go see you. Sometimes the best way to make money is to be at the convention and sell your book.
Get your name out there. That's, Ralph. I mean, the journeys that I've taken since 2008, 17, 18. I met Ralph.
You've been on a roll there, brother.
I got Fan Expo Chicago this year.
Yeah, you've upped your game. You're hitting up like more bigger and bigger conventions.
12. I got like 12 or 13. I lost count. I really.
I already don't understand how people do it as a full-time job. I really don't understand when people have another job and they do it.
Listen, it's tough. I've done a lot of local ones, and I got into Rhode Island Comic Con, the Fan Expos. I'm all over. I think there's 1 week in July that I don't have a Comic Con. There's 5 weeks in July this year. I'm going to 4 of them out of 5.
Whew.
And then I'm going to retire. Just kidding. I think that's
they all say that, and then they come out with another book and another book and another.
You know what? As long as you're getting it out there, for people that are, Kickstarters or just trying to do whatever, do local events. Ralph met me in Jersey, and I've done Cradle Aviation, which is a great one on Long Island to kind of go and, go to local ones that you build your brand in your own backyard. That's my best advice to anybody. You start that and you gradually grow, because that's how I've done it. You've seen it,
Yep. You got to keep going. You got to keep working it forward.
That's it.
Jamal, hit all the parts. Hit your part. Hit the fanfare part. Let them know everything.
Okay. Well, I will be at Fanfare NYC this weekend, Saturday and Sunday all day. I have 2 panels that I'm going to be moderating. One with Ryan Dunleavy, Sean Chen, and I'm blanking. Sorry. One is on freelancing for comics with Ivan Cohen, Ryan Dunleavy, and myself, and Wilson Ramos, who's a colorist and a production coordinator, used to work for Marvel. Ivan, who was a former DC editor, is now a full-time freelance writer. There's also another panel on realism in comics with Sean Chen, Jason Little, Josh Bayer, and myself. Let's see what else is going on. May 20th, for those of you who might be interested, I'm doing a 1-day master seminar with Comics Experience. So it's going to be 6 or 7 hours. I'll be discussing my process, a little bit of everything. So you can go to comicsexperience.com for that. I'm at a lot of conventions. I will be at Heroes Con in June. I will be at Terrific Con in July. I will be at Twin Cities Con in November. I will be doing NYCC and a few other shows that haven't been officially announced yet. And you can find everything about me at jamaleigel.com. The Wrong Earth is on Comixology. Dudley Datsun and the Forever Machine is on Comixology as well. Molly Danger is on Comixology. Dudley Datsun and the Forever Machine will be out in print in the fall from Dark Horse Comics. The Wrong Earth is currently available. There are 3 trade paperbacks available from Ahoy Comics. You can get it through your comic book shop, and I'm trying to think of what else I have going on.
Damn,
right
dude.
now.
A lot, man.
The art looks fantastic, bro.
Thank you.
It does.
I figured to show off some of your stuff since we have you here. Have you remembered what it was?
No. I think that's pretty much it for now.
Okay. Dude, man, I wish I was. No, I don't. No. I'm already busy as hell. I don't want to. I'm already as busy as hell. I don't. No. I'm doing too much as it. Speaking of which, Gage and I are doing a writer's challenge right now. Gage is finished with his. I'm almost finished with mine. And as soon as that's finished, we'll show you guys what we have. And I feel like it's been a lot of fun. I started mine off being something simple I was writing, and it turned into something else. So always the case.
I had to keep mine small, so I didn't write a novel. I think I kept it down to like 3.5 pages, and that's light for me.
Dude, yours was great. I loved it. I read it. I started writing mine, and it turned into something else, and I'm not happy with a certain part of it. I guess we'll see what happens. I feel like it needs to be written a different way. The voice isn't there yet.
I've been there.
But it's the writer's challenge, and that'll be coming straight to you guys, which means you'll see some more of Gage coming soon. Guys, anything else? Nat, Tony?
This weekend alone, there is Amazing Las Vegas Comic Con, Omega Con, South Texas Comic Con, Anime Ocean City, Brickfest.
Is this weekend?
Huh?
Brickfest is this weekend?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yep. That's the one you were probably forgetting. Yeah. Along with another one. Then there's Castle Point Anime. Then there is Dallas Comic Show, along with Central Texas Comic Con. Fanfare. Hondo. There's a Toho Fest going on. There's Lobo. Long Island Comic Fest is still listed. I don't know if that's still going on, but that's listed right now for this weekend.
It has one day on the 29th.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's happening.
Every Sunday, I think. Every last Sunday of the month, I think he's doing it.
Yeah.
This is listed for Saturday.
I'm surprised to see that one.
Is it? So. Maybe it's a Saturday.
This is listed for Saturday. That's why I'm surprised.
Was it supposed to be on Sunday? Yeah. Wasn't Greg supposed to do those on Sundays? I don't know.
I don't know, man. I know it's the date on it is the 29th.
Okay. So yeah.
So if you're on Long Island, go over there.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. And then there's Mini, and yeah, that's it for relevant ones that we know.
So speaking of fanfare, before I forget, of course, we also have BAM, who's going to be at fanfare. They have beautiful stuff. Go check them out. They got a table there. They have an exclusive sticker set that I think they're releasing there, and it's a lot of Mario and Luigi stuff. So, go check it out, brothers and sisters.
Very topical.
Look at that. Oh, that's the sticker set that he's is releasing at fanfare. I already like it. I want it.
I like the Shy Guys.
Exactly.
Mario 2 USA. Forgotten game.
That's my favorite one. Mario Brothers 2.
One
That's
of
the
my
two
favorite.
sets they have for
I like that and Mario RPG 7 stars. I like those two.
BAM has a lot of stuff, not just stickers. Go check them out. They have beautiful art. They do a lot of great work. Go give them a hand and check them out at Fanfare, which we've been talking about. So you know where you got to go. Fanfare.
Man, I keep on watching these videos of Mario, and now I just want to go play Mario Brothers.
Dude, I saw the movie, and I just wanted to.
So did I loved that. I thought it was really good.
Yeah. When I came out of the movie theater, a whole bunch of people said, like, I felt like I was just playing a video game. Like,
it was really good.
I gotta admit, you're right. Yeah. When I was watching the movie, it felt like I was playing the video game. Yeah.
So I just like the way it touched on the nostalgia for us older players, but still included stuff that the younger generation I like that they included us, because they could have just made it for the newer generation, and they made sure that we would feel that nostalgia too.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that movie.
They did a good job with that. It's the same thing with the D&D movie. The D&D movie did a great job at finding the voice of the movie, so it felt like you were playing the game, and at the same time it left it open for fans, other fans, to come and check it out as a fantasy movie.
I had a buddy who complained about that.
saw
He
that.
complained about the movie, and I was telling him, the powers they use in it seem like D&D powers.
Yep.
The creatures are D&D creatures, and they even
Yep.
got the party banter down.
Did
Like
you
when
hear
they're
that?
messing with each other in the graveyard, that
Yeah.
is cracking me up. 'Cause I was like, that's the
1000%.
same kind of BS we talk when we're on an adventure.
I mean, anyone who's
the
anyone
non-physical character where he just like walks over a rock and he just goes.
yes.
It was like, I mean, I don't play a lot of D&D, but I recognize that from playing like Japanese RPGs. Those old school non-playable characters that just.
You know, when you do a movie like Dungeons and Dragons or Super Mario, and God, Ralph, I don't remember if you remember seeing that movie. You know, I guess was it 87, 85, something like that.
Which one?
The old Mario.
Oh yeah,
That was
in
the
the
90s.
Yeah.
It was the 90s? Okay.
Yeah.
The
And-
dystopian hellscape Mario.
And
Yeah.
I'm 47, and I still remember them bouncing the Coopers in the elevator with the music. And it terrifies me at night because I still remember it. As much as
I did not watch that in the movie theater. I saw a commercial. I was like, nope.
Where were you? You should have told me that 27 years ago before I met you.
I mean, they got
It's
guns
all
in
your
the
fault.
poster. That's
It's all your fault you didn't meet me before with Ralph.
Dude, I have the toys from that movie.
Do you really?
Yes.
You sell them?
Toys from that
People
movie.
try to buy them off you.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That was Dennis Hopper as Bowser, right?
Yeah.
Yoshi was a literal dinosaur. Like, out of Jurassic Park. Oh my god!
But see, the one thing that I remember was the Coopers bouncing in the elevator to like stupid music. I forgot what the hell it was about. No, they didn't. And but in all honesty, the one thing that comes, like, I didn't see Dungeons and Dragons. I was never a D&D fan. I think Ralph had seen it, right? Right? You saw it, Ralph?
D&D. Oh yeah, I think. Let me see. Derek, Tony, me, Gage. Yeah,
I've seen like a few, right? A few of you guys posted that you guys saw it. Like I'm going to eventually see it. But I mean, the one thing with those movies, besides the special effects and CGIs or whatever, which is common, you have to do those right. But the number one thing about any movie, what is it?
Story.
Yep.
Writing.
Yeah.
You have to.
Same thing.
Like I want them to do a Zelda. I want them to do a Mega Man. I want them to do certain ones. But then I'm afraid. Like I was like, oh, that would be great if this person did this and did this. But I'm like, yeah, the writing, the director, the producing, you need to get everything spot on 150%.
And if they did a Zelda movie, they'd have to be really careful not to just try and stuff too much in it.
Yeah.
You don't want to over inundate the movie to please the viewership with what they're seeing and let the story go by the wayside. And they didn't do that with Mario Brothers.
No,
and they put a lot in there. They put a lot in there, and they didn't do that. Yeah, you're right.
Exactly. And I'm not a huge fan of Seth Rogen, but I think he did Donkey Kong awesome.
Yeah, he did.
Awesome.
I don't know if Seth Rogen is Donkey Kong or Donkey Kong just is Seth Rogen.
They all did them.
Oh, that was like hey, Seth Rogen, can you act like Seth Rogen? I said, I think I can pull that off. Okay.
See, but here's the thing now. When I heard Seth Rogen be Donkey Kong, I'm like, wait a minute. I feel like this is the voice that's been in my head this whole time.
Like when I heard Chris Pratt was Mario, I'm like, there's no way. And
He did a good job.
He did a good job.
I had faith in him. No one else online did, but I had faith. I think he did a good job.
But when you hear Chris Pratt as Mario and you know his voice and everything, I'm like, how did they get Chris Pratt to do Mario? The other ones I was fine with, like every actor and actress that they got, I thought it was spot on. I really thought it was like, I'm like, Chris Pratt's Mario. I'm like, ah. And then when they announced that he was doing Mario,
I think Jack Black stole the show, man. That song.
I think
Oh,
he
yeah.
did.
All I hear in my head now is peaches. We're at MCon and we all singing to each other.
It's such a badly written song, but you know Bowser can't actually write a song. That's what makes it so funny.
Listen, I would actually go to that
Oh,
to the
man.
movies and watch that again because I thought it was really.
I gotta admit, I feel like watching it again.
So
Yeah.
do I
Same
think
thing with the D&D movie. I feel like watching it again.
no. See, I have to watch that for the first time. I'll watch Dungeons and Dragons. I would love to see Mario again, but I want to see Dungeons and Dragons before I see Mario.
All right, so folks, of course, we have to tell you guys there's a couple of Kickstarters that are starting next week, but right now they have the notify buttons up, and we all like we've been telling you, if you go hit the notify, it actually helps out the project because it puts them in a better place when the project starts. The more followers they have for their notify, the better they are starting out. So here's Tragedy, which starts in 2 weeks. I think the one that starts next week is our pal Rob Powers with his Cataclysm. And of course, I love Pinguino Revenge. So you guys got to go check out Cataclysm. It looks pretty good. Go hit the follow button. And of course, if you're following us, you know that Corrupt Moon is doing their Kickstarter at the same time as Rob Powers. I think both of the gentlemen will be here next week, Wednesday, to kick off their Kickstarters. Well, at least the day after, because I think Phil is helping them kick off the Kickstarter on Tuesday, which I think is the day they kick off the Kickstarter. That's a lot of kickoff. And of course, like we've been saying all this time, make sure you hit the notify buttons on all these projects because it really does help for them to get notified.
I really dig the art on this Corrupt Moon too. The
Oh,
idea of the
dude,
symbiote
yeah.
on a werewolf.
Yeah.
Like some of the images from that are really awesome.
Yeah, Nick Hughes was in here before. How's the Corrupt Moon bloodline image going? I'm not sure who he was talking to, but it could have been Son of Saint. I think Son of Saint is doing one of the covers for Corrupt Moon. Yeah, Son of Saint is doing one of the covers for Corrupt Moon. I think he's doing a cover for each of them. He's doing a cover for Corrupt Moon, and he's doing a cover for Cataclysm. You know, Son of Saint's busy. And Niobe, of course, I think his Kickstarter is starting soon. I think, right? I'm not sure.
Yeah, so he's got a cosplay Niobe trade dress coming out.
Okay.
And then they've got both Mary Machine Gun from Atrocity Press and Niobe are going to be in Antarctic Press Comics as part of their Superverse label.
Nice.
So,
because I know Niobe because Pete's done a cover for them, if I remember right.
I think he's done chippy stickers
like
and stuff. I don't think he's done a cover for Niobe yet. I think that the Pete Vasquez cover on Godslayers episode 2 will be his first published cover.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So maybe he did some fan art for them.
Yeah, he did a bunch of chibis for
and there
Niobe.
You go. Okay.
Yeah.
I knew there was some kind of connection there. So, dudes, there's so much stuff happening right now. I think. Oh, that's right. Our pal, Cold Cutter, Charles W. Morgan, his Kickstarter is starting next week. So, go hit his notify button. I love a nice detective story, and Cold Cutter is one of those. So go check it out. And if you hear a voice that sounds familiar on his Kickstarter, I don't know. Oh my God, dude, this has been a great day. I can tell because we've been talking a bunch of different things here, and I've been dying to talk about the D&D movie for a while because all I've been hearing was people like complaining about it, But I really feel the only reason they're complaining is because of what Hasbro did.
So I really think, like, I have a good friend who was like, oh, they could have just called it a Rogue's Tale and blah, blah, blah. And I really think that that this medium that they've loved for so long, they don't like that Hollywood touched it, is kind of what I get from them. And I watched it. I'm a D&D fan. I loved it. I didn't see anything wrong with it. I thought the storytelling in it was great. I thought the monsters were fun. I really liked that movie.
I did
And
too.
anyone who's actually played Dungeons and Dragons knows it starts off as a heroic epic and just turns into Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Every time.
You also got to look at one of I didn't see it, but this is me looking from the outside in. If you have little things to nitpick at a movie, which is very rare, that you could sit there and nitpick little things, right? Like you have a boss at work that nitpicks at every little thing that you do and whatever. But if you're sitting there watching a movie and you're picking little things, then you know that Hollywood actually scored 1,000 out of it, because if you have to look for little things to nitpick at it based on what people grew up with. You know what I'm saying? So, like, if you're able to do that and really, oh man, this was great. Like, I love the Mario movie, and I couldn't find one bad thing about it.
I haven't heard anybody say anything bad about that movie. Like,
Neither
that's one of
have
the
I.
few movies I've gone to see recently where I went in with no doubt I was going to enjoy that film. You know, I hadn't heard any bad reviews. I think John Leguizamo was the only one who had some that he didn't like.
And I wonder why John has an issue, Mr. Luigi.
That one was better than the one he was in. And that's better.
Yo, Amanda Taylor-Joy's from Argentina. What are you talking about?
You know what movie?
What are you talking about, dude? Like, I mean,
I don't know.
They had a Puerto Rican playing an Italian, and then they had an English guy playing. I don't think they had an English guy playing Mario. Like, what are you talking about, dude?
Again, you have to find stuff to nitpick at it
Yeah.
because his version was horrific, you know, and this version was.
I like the old one for what it was. It was an interesting take on Mario Brothers. You know, I enjoyed it when it came out. It wasn't the Mario that I was expecting from playing the Mario Brothers video games, but I enjoyed that film.
I will give it this. Like, they for whatever reason they used Daisy instead of Princess Peach for whatever reason, and then later, it looks like the games, like, they play with that. They play with the Luigi and Daisy romance. So that's like the only good thing that came out of it. I can't think of anything else.
I will defend it to this way. So it was what, early 90s, 90, 91, 92, maybe something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
We were all a lot younger, right? And you got to take it for where they came out, right? They couldn't
do the CG that they do now.
But that's where I'm going. That's exactly where I'm going. So, you this is 2023. That came in what, 30 something years ago, when that came out. So you have limited things that you were able to do. Like, I take like a movie, like one of my favorite movies that I like are Pirates of the Caribbean, but I'm not using in that, is Avatar. They could not make Avatar in 1990. There is no way they can make that movie because of the technology that they have today, or when they made the original one in 2009.
I've never seen that movie.
Oh, you got to watch that. I love it. I also love Pirates of the Caribbean, so I'm very mixed. I love Braveheart. I have a very mixed area of movies that I like. The only Batman that I like is the Michael Keaton Batman, which I'm looking forward to seeing Michael Keaton in The Flash, which I'm sure a lot of fans are looking forward for that.
Talking about fantasy movies, have any of you guys seen Stardust? The Neil Gaiman Stardust movie?
No.
No? Oh man, I love that movie. And
I think I've
every
seen
time
it.
I ask about it, I get dead silence.
I think
I'm
I've
so
seen it.
surprised by that.
I think I've seen it too. I just didn't know Neil Gaiman was attached to
Yeah,
it.
me neither.
I'm pretty sure he wrote it.
Now
I
I'm
think I
diving into
have
a
the
hole
book
here.
somewhere.
All right, folks. One last thing. Of course, remember this weekend we also have Castle Point. We're probably going to be at both conventions, especially because I think at Castle Point we have somebody tabling who's attached to Nomnivore, who was supposed to be here today, but they're gonna come back and be here because they have something big coming. And they want to like surprise us with it. So that's why they're not here today. But Nomnivore will be here soon to talk about their game and a bunch of different other things. And I think, let me see if I remember what
Cat.
the name was. You remember that? The name of the
Cat's gonna be there. Nomnivore's gonna be there.
Cat is gonna be there.
Miho. Oh, well, they changed their name. Formerly Mihosho Studios, but they changed their name to Seiju, I believe. I can't remember. They're usually there. There's a decent amount of people who we know who are going to to Castle Point.
Oh, that's good because we're probably going to be there as well. And let me see. I think I have it here, Nomnivore. The booth that you're looking for is belly buttons. So when you go to Castle Point, go check out belly buttons, and they will have some Nomnivore products on the table. So that's belly buttons. We'll have some Nomnivore stuff. So when you go to Castle Point, that's who to look for. And of course, we'll also be at Fanfare this weekend with Derrick, who's going to be there tabling, and a plethora of fun stuff that's happening at Fanfare. There you have it. That's where we're split this weekend. We got Fanfare and Castle Point, and that's where we are. As you heard today, Fanfare is going to be a lot of fun. Go check it out. Castle Point has a lot of people we know, and it's always a lot of fun. Go check that out. And I think with that, we are done, folks. We are way over our time. A lot of geeking out, a lot of having fun here. Everybody, you're all welcome to be here anytime you want. And I'm going to press this button, and where it stops, nobody knows.